I don't know. So this is a response. Not really a response. It's not a response. I. So there's this YouTuber I love. I love watching because he makes critical. He makes a lot of critical. Like a lot of the things he says is critical. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Like, a lot of the things that he says makes a lot of sense. And I mean, like how, when your job is to talk to, I don't know, the customers and your black people, in my opinion, you should be fired. Legit, lose your job because you obviously don't need your job, because you're not doing your job. Because here's the thing: if I went to my job, but I'm not telling you because honestly, I don't need people harassing my employer. But if I went to my job and I treat people like crap, and then I block them from entering, guess what? I'll lose my job. Because that's disrespectful, and I will never be able to have a job. But yet, somehow, if an idiot is working online and his job is to be the community manager or some BS like that, which in my opinion you don't need that job. You don't need those jobs, to be honest. If if they're blocking people, well, they're not doing their job, and yet these companies still allow them to have their job. But yet, if I go to the place I work, which again I'm not telling you where I work, I go there and I treat people like shit, like this Sony community manager does. Then that's okay. If I go to my job and I do exactly what he does, then I get fired. But if I'm working for these billion-dollar corporations, I don't get fired. Tell me how that works. Because that just does not work. And I hate the masculinity of women. Why? Because when you walk outside in real life instead of the damn internet, when you see an actual woman, like, how big do you think their breast is? Tell me, how big do you think their breast is? Because it's not flat. Most women do not have flat breasts. I'm sorry. That's just how things are. There are women, especially on TV, that has big breasts. Okay? And if I want a woman to look more masculine, you know what I would do? I go to a porn site. Oh, I play a video game with the main character as a man. That's what I would do. Just saying. If I wanted women to look more men, I'd play a game with him that has a man as a character. Not a woman that looks like a man. I'm sorry. I want a woman that looks like a woman. Hot, sexy, beautiful. Someone that I can do the hooga with. That's what I want. If I'm gonna date a woman, let's say I date a woman, I'm not gonna date a woman if the woman looks like a man. No. I date a woman that looks like a hot, sexy woman. That looks like a hot, sexy woman. That I can do the hooga with. Why? Because that's what I'm sexually attracted to. I can't help it. I'm also sexually attracted to Japanese ladies because they look much more women than men. Because our society tends to hate women. So, because they hate women because they hate men. Because if they truly love women and they were truly feminists, they're not. But if they were, they would love men, and in response, they would love women. Because how women in real life looks like is how God intended to create us. How these so-called feminists want us to look is not at all what Heavenly Father intended us to look like. Heavenly Father intended us to look all like Him. That is how He intended to create us. We are created to be in His image, not in Satan's image, not in Lucifer's image, if you know what I'm talking about, which is what these feminists want. So, but hey, whatever. And I'm not really a Christian man, nor do I care, but my point is God intended us to look the way we do for a reason. He did not intend us to look for women to look like a damn man. Because if I want an actual man, if I want to date a woman who looks like a man, I date a man, not a woman. I'm sorry. I know that's offensive. I don't effing care. Because that's stupid. I want a sexy woman with boobs, with a big breast, with a sexy body type. Not one that's fat and ugly, not one that's masculine and ugly. I want a beautiful, and I said beautiful women. And I mean that. And I know that may be offensive to some YouTube employee who had a little tiny pea brain. I don't care. I really don't. I want a sexy, hot women. And I hate calling them females because honestly, female I find highly offensive. And the reason I find highly offensive because I have a mom who's beautiful. I have two sisters who are also beautiful. And I have two nieces who are also much more young. My point is there's more women than there are men. There are more women than there are men in my family. And I love every one of them. And I am much more sexually attracted to the women of my family. Why? Because that's how God intended us to be. Would I ever do anything that would I ever make any sin? No. But what I'm saying is I am much more sexually attracted to women who are women, not a masculine version of Mary Jane. No. I want a woman who has a much more women face, who has much more of a women body. If I want a woman to look like a man, to have a face of a man, a body of a man, I'd go date a man. I'd go date my friend Richard. And honestly, I would never date a man regardless. My point is if I want a woman to look like a man, I go to a man. If I want a man to look like a woman, I'd go to a woman. It's that simple. I find it highly, and I mean it, highly offensive. And the reason I find it highly offensive for a woman to look like a man or to be fat is because I have family. Majority of my family members are women. I have a mom, I have two sisters, and two nieces. So yes, majority of my family women. I love women. I find women in my family sexually attractive, though I would never commit any sin or anything like that. But I find my family attractive, mainly because they look like women. They don't, plus they're not fat. They're not faggots. I'm sorry. And yes, faggot is technically a bundle of sticks. I don't care. I don't like big, ugly, fat people. I really don't. I'm not saying I don't like Richard. I do like Richard. I like him as a friend. Whether that, I'm more attractive to women that look like women, not women that look like men. Because again, if I want a man, I'd go to a man. I'm sorry, there is only two gender in this world. There's a woman and a man, and that's it. Period. I'm sorry. My brain works based on logic. And by logic, there's two gender. My brain doesn't work on whatever Hojo Mojo magic that leftist brains work on. So, yeah.